Right now, we're just trying to gather as much information. What we know is a police chase started this morning in Boone County. It was between 9 and 9:30, and we're going to go to a press conference right now with Indiana State Police Sergeant John Perrine.
They spotted a suspect that they were looking for. That person and two others got into a vehicle, fled the scene. A police pursuit ensued through Lebanon. It came to a stop at one point. At some point during the pursuit, the Lebanon deputy, the Boone County deputy got involved to assist. It turned into a foot pursuit at some point, at which time the Boone County deputy was shot. The deputy was transported to Witham Hospital, and then a short time later he was flown by medical ambulance to St. Vincent's on 86th Street in Indianapolis. He's listed in critical condition. We just received information within the last 5 minutes that the third suspect we were looking for is now in police custody. So at this point, all three of the people that we believe to be involved in this are accounted for and in custody. One of the suspects was shot by police. I do not know his status at this point. I haven't been given that update. Still a lot of information to gather. A lot of activity is going to continue throughout the day here in the area. And we'll give you more information as it becomes available.
What was the nature of the warrant being served this morning?
At this point, I don't have that information.
Where was the deputy shot? Was he shot in the head, we're hearing?
I can't confirm right now where he was shot.
The third person apprehended, where were they apprehended in this area?
You know, from what I understand, the third person gave himself up to police.
Where was the location where the deputy was shot?
Indian Springs Drive, I believe, in that area.
And so it was the Lebanon PD, though, that served that warrant this morning?
The Lebanon PD was serving a warrant that started the pursuit that the deputy assisted with.
The suspect who was shot, is that who the warrant was served for?
I'm not sure at this point.
The call out, we've been out here, for a couple hours watching how many investigators, and ISP now has taken over this investigation at this point, but to have this many people out here with their armored vests and their, large guns, I think a lot of people around here were nervous, but at this point there's no threat to the community.
Yeah, we believe that all three people that were involved in this incident are now in custody, but we're still going to keep it active. We're still searching. There's still a lot of leads for us to investigate. We want to make sure that we cover every possible aspect of what happened and make sure that we get answers to the questions.
What can you tell us about the actual shooting when the officer was struck?
At this point, it's too early for me to have a lot of the details available. We know that the officer was pursuing a suspect on foot when he was shot.
Do we know who fired first?
I don't know.
Does this mean the lockdown for the town is over?
That's not going to be my call. I don't know who will determine that. I think everybody should still stay vigilant because we still have an active investigation going on, and we've got a lot of questions left to answer. So there possibly could be other suspects that we don't know. We don't believe there is, but we don't want to stop now and thinking that we have everybody that was involved.
What are some of those questions that you're still investigating?
Oh, the who's, the what's, the whys. Those are all the questions we want to answer about why this happened, how it happened. We want to get all the details so that we can make an accurate investigation.
Do we know if the deputy was wearing a bulletproof vest or other protective gear?
I don't have that information.
The person who just surrendered, the guy who put the picture out about, can we say he's a suspect or still person of interest?
Right now he's a person of interest. We want to talk to him. We want to see what his side of the story is.
Was he related? Was he family with the other person that he was in the car with? Were they all living at that time?
I don't know what the relationship was at this point. Most of you know, I've only been here 10 minutes, and I'm trying to get as much information as I can. So as it becomes available, I will get it to you. I'll try to have another update sometime within the next hour for you.
I'm sure with Boone County and Lebanon and you guys too being from law enforcement, I'm sure they're very upset right now knowing that one of their officers or deputies is now at the hospital.
It's gut-wrenching. It rips all our hearts out when this happens. And our thoughts and prayers are obviously with the family and everybody, but we're gonna keep working. We're gonna keep working.
Is that why state police was brought in to now spearhead this?
We have a lot of resources that we brought to this investigation, and that we're going to continue to bring to this investigation. And at the request of Sheriff Nielsen with the Boone County Sheriff's Department, he asked if we could lead this investigation for him because he has other priorities that he needs to deal with.
You saw an armored vehicle. What was the purpose for bringing that one out?
Our SWAT team responded, and in most SWAT responses, that's the vehicle that they bring. You obviously have a situation where shots were fired, an officer was shot. It's very serious. It'd be very serious if anybody was shot, and that's the response that we would have for anybody that was shot.
Was the guy held up, we heard, at that apartment complex when he ended up saying?
I don't believe he was.
Where he
I don't know where he was.
How wide of an area was this search? Seems pretty large.
You know, it starts wide and we get smaller. You know, it's kind of like a dragnet. When a suspect gets a jump on you, you want to start wide and get smaller. And so that's exactly what we did. We called in all the resources that were available. A lot of people are willing to help. We've received help from far south as IMPD is reaching out. And so the police community is hurting today, but we'll figure this one out.
The incident with the highway, when they drove the wrong way down the highway, do you know much about that at that point?
That was after the shooting. One of the suspects got back in the vehicle and fled the scene again, which spun up a second pursuit after the shooting.
And that was the latest guy who was taken into custody with police?
I believe so, yes.
Is the identity of the officer shot being released anytime soon?
No, it's too soon for that.
Okay.
Do you know his age or anything like
I
that?
don't have
Okay.
that.
Thank you
sir.
very much.
All right, I'll be
Appreciate
back
it.
as soon as I
Thanks,
can.
sir.
You're just hearing from Sergeant John Perrine of Indiana State Police. They are now in charge of this investigation where a Boone County Sheriff's deputy was shot this morning. Now, this all started after Lebanon PD was actually doing a warrant, and they spotted the suspects they were looking for. During that time, a Boone County Sheriff's officer assisted during that chase after that warrant was attempted to be served, and during that foot chase, the deputy was shot. So what state police are telling us right now is that that deputy from the Boone County Sheriff's Office is listed in critical condition at St. Vincent's Hospital. Now, another suspect has also been shot. They don't know his condition just yet. We're working to get that information just as soon as we can. But all three suspects that they were looking for, there were two more, that one that was shot, and then the two other suspects are now in custody by state police. And right now, you're looking at a live picture from Skycam 6 where that shooting occurred this morning. Police are just trying now to go through exactly what happened and why it happened. It all unfolded again about 9:30 this morning. That's when Lebanon police were issuing a search warrant there. They spotted those suspects, three different people who took off, and during that chase, the Boone County Sheriff's deputy was shot, who is now listed in critical condition at St. Vincent's Hospital. Now, this is the apartment complex that you're looking at is on Indian Spring Road. It's near East and Fortis. That's where we just saw that police press conference from, but Skycam 6 over the apartment complex right now as police continue to investigate. There's a lot of questions. There's a lot of different agencies involved here as well, but Indiana State Police will be the lead agency that will look into all the details of this shooting. Police calling this a police action shooting as well, and that means a police officer also fired their gun, and that's how we believe that other suspect was shot at this point. But again, Boone County Sheriff's Officer, deputy with the Sheriff's Department there, is listed in critical condition at St. Vincent's Hospital, and police saying all the suspects they were looking for are now in custody. This morning, it was a little crazy in Boone County as they were trying to investigate this. They did put all the schools on lockdown, but Sergeant John Perrine said they would be reopening those soon. They're just going to work to make sure they have all of their everything is safe before they do that. But right now, they don't believe there is any concern for the community as these three suspects are in custody. Lauren, we're trying to get just the latest that we have right now. We've seen a lot of people reaching out on social media as well. Thoughts and prayers from other police departments. A lot is going on to try and see what's going on. And we know there's a big presence up at St. Vincent's Hospital on the north side.
Yeah, and Paris, we did hear Sergeant Perrine there saying that ISP is taking over the investigation. Obviously, the Boone County Sheriff's Department focusing on that officer, that deputy there, and the family and the rest of the people on that team, a very, I'm sure, close-knit group, and this is something very personal for them. Again, this is the scene that we're looking at where they have a pretty big perimeter set up. And to give you an idea of where this is at in Lebanon, it looks like it's kind of on the northeast side of town. If you're looking at the downtown area, just a little northeast of that. Again, in this apartment complex off Indian Springs Road. We've been monitoring this from our Skycam 6 since we got up there and got word of this happening. It's a pretty large scene spread out. You heard Perrine also say that people need to stay vigilant. They do believe that they have all the persons of interest in police custody at this time. They don't believe there's any threat to the students in the schools that are on lockdown, but they do want you to stay alert as they're continuing this investigation, because there's still a lot of questions that need to be answered, obviously, and we're monitoring those as well, trying to get those questions answered. Something else I saw, the library there in Lebanon has been on lockdown. Lebanon schools just tweeting out moments ago that all their students and staff are safe. They are still on lockdown at this time. They also say that the high school campus is closed for lunch. They say that seniors can make arrangements to charge their lunch if needed so they don't leave campus at this time. And of course, we have our Katie Hines. She's been out there gathering more information from police from one of those active scenes. Katie, what's the latest where you are?
Well, one of the biggest updates that we just got from Indiana State Police here in Lebanon is that officer, the deputy who was shot this morning, is in critical condition. We're finding out a little bit more about what happened, the circumstances leading up to this police-involved shooting here in Lebanon this morning. We're told that it started around 8:30 this morning. That's when a Lebanon police officer was serving a search warrant in an apartment complex in this area, not far from where we're at in downtown Lebanon. At some point, others were coming in for backup. We're told there were 3 suspects who took off from that scene, that shooting taking place around 9:30 this morning. We know that this led to a wrong-way pursuit, a chase on I-65 that ended in the southbound lanes here near Lebanon just a couple of hours ago. There is quite a big perimeter still blocked off. We know that 1 suspect was shot in that police-involved shooting. That suspect's condition unknown at this point. Police had then set up a wide perimeter around some of the schools in this area, around this particular neighborhood, looking for those 2 other suspects. We're told they found 1. The 3rd ended up turning himself in. They're actually calling him now a person of interest, someone they want to find out more information from. So still a very active investigation. They say that there could be more suspects out there. They don't think at this point that they are, but they are still keeping the local schools on lockdown. They're keeping some of these perimeters set up as they continue to question and look into exactly what happened out here.
Katie, thank you for that update. Again, if you're just joining us right now, we are streaming live on Facebook and on the RTV6 app. We're following the latest from Boone County, where we know a Boone County deputy was shot after a foot pursuit chasing a suspect in that area. We are working several different crime scenes at this time. This is the main one you're looking at right now from Skycam 6, where police have been out at this apartment complex on Indian Springs Road. Again, this is in Lebanon, sort of on the northeast side of the town in that area. We know that the deputy was taken to St. Vincent Hospital here in Indianapolis, flown here. Right now, we can tell you that deputy is in critical condition. Right now, state police are investigating this. They don't have an update on how that officer, the deputy there, was shot or how he's doing, other than that he's in critical condition at this time. A suspect also taken to the hospital after being shot. No word on the condition of that suspect. Again, they had a suspect in custody as well. And then a 3rd person of interest there turned himself in. They were looking for that person for a while, but now they believe that they have all the people of interest in this case in custody. I want to toss things back over to Call 6's Paris Lubell. He's been working the phones, working his sources. Paris, any new updates?
Lauren, we're hearing right now from our sources that this possibly was related to drugs. It was a drug warrant that Lebanon PD was serving this morning, again, right around 9 o'clock when this started to unfold, and all of a sudden they took off away from Lebanon Police. A Boone County Sheriff's Office deputy assisted on that. It turned into some sort of foot chase, and during that time, a deputy was shot. Again, he's in critical condition at St. Vincent's Hospital, and another suspect was shot in turn. Now, all 3 are in custody. That one that was shot and the 2 others were found just a short term later. But Lebanon PD, again, our sources telling us, was serving some sort of warrant for drugs when this all occurred, and we're trying to figure out what led to the police chase, what may have happened during that time as it unfolded. State police also telling us during this time, after that actual shooting, after the deputy was shot, another suspect drove in the wrong direction on I-65 for a little while as police started to chase him. He is now in custody as well, is what police are telling us. But it caused quite a crazy moments for all the different police agencies that are involved. We do know IMPD even came up to Boone County to assist at this point, and there's a large presence right now at St. Vincent's Hospital from IMPD, from Boone County, from Lebanon, as they try to get an update on the condition. And this is, I'm going to show you right now a picture of John Baldwin Sr. This is one of the people who was taken into custody. Police originally putting out his picture saying they were looking for him in connection to it, but they have located him. And from our understanding, there was some sort of warrant for drug use, felony drug use, that Lebanon PD was serving this morning. That's what they were trying to take him into custody for, and he was one of the 3 who ran during the time. Police telling us this was not the suspect that was shot, but he was taken into custody a short time later. We'll take you back to Skycam 6. This is the apartment complex off Indian Springs Road. And it's a very active scene. Indiana State Police will be taking over that investigation and all parts of the investigation during this time. They're usually called in for smaller police departments to investigate police-involved shootings, and with the deputy being shot at this point, they will be the lead agency. But they'll have a lot of assistance from Lebanon Police and from some of the other agencies in the area trying to just determine exactly what happened. And right now we still just know that that deputy is in critical condition at St. Vincent's Hospital. Lauren, we've seen a little bit of Skycam here. It's really close to some of the schools. That caused quite a stir this morning as they put all those schools on lockdown. But you can see it's only just a few blocks from the high school right there.
Yeah, Paris, Lebanon Community Schools tweeting out that they're still on lockdown at this hour. As we've heard Sergeant Perrine say, they're still in those very early stages of this investigation. Still a lot to find out about why this happened, who's all involved in this. And we'll continue to follow this. Of course, we have crews at the scene of the investigation. We have a crew at the hospital as we're waiting to learn more about that deputy who is in critical condition right now. And of course, we have Skycam 6 flying over Lebanon right now. So we're working to keep you updated on those lockdown situations. We're going to go ahead and toss our on-air coverage back to The View, but we'll be joining you again coming up just here in a few minutes on the news at noon with more information on this case as we continue to follow it. So stay with us for that. We'll be right back. Okay, and if you're following us on the RTV6 app or on Facebook Live, we're going to stay with you through our noon broadcast. Again, you're looking live at the scene where the big perimeter is set up here in Lebanon after we've learned that a Boone County deputy was shot at after a police pursuit. This is basically what happened. They spotted a suspect. Lebanon police did. Those suspects fled the scene. A police pursuit ensued. They did come to a stop. The Boone County deputy assisted in a foot pursuit, and that's when the deputy was shot by a suspect. A suspect there also shot at the scene. Both the deputy and the suspect taken to the hospital. We know the deputy right now is in critical condition at St. Vincent Hospital here in Indianapolis. They did have a second suspect in custody, and then a third person of interest turned himself in. For a while we were looking for him. He has turned himself in. State police have taken over this investigation. They believe that they have all of the persons of interest in this case, but they're still in those preliminary stages of finding out what all happened here and why this all happened. So right now we know they're still wanting people to stay vigilant in the area of Lebanon. Those schools, as far as we know, are still on lockdown just for safety precautions. No students are in danger at this time. And of course, we're working the phone lines. We have crews at various scenes here. And of course, we'll work to keep you updated. Let's toss things back over to Paris Lubell. I know, Paris, you've been busy making calls, talking with police. A lot of this still preliminary information, but is there anything else you can add to that?
Well, the latest we're finding out from our sources is this did involve some sort of drug warrant, a drug felony that Lebanon police were serving this morning. We're working to get some more details on exactly what it was for and who was involved. But again, that all happening around 9 o'clock this morning. Police were trying to serve that warrant when these 3 suspects took off during that time. It was some sort of car chase. chase during that pursuit. A Boone County Sheriff's deputy did assist in this. There was a foot chase, and the deputy was shot during that time, and another suspect was also shot during that time. Now, that deputy is in critical condition at St. Vincent's Hospital. I want to take you to a live picture outside of St. Vincent's right now where that deputy is located. We're working to try and find some information about him, but we're waiting for police to give us that and see what the latest update is. I know we have state police. They're trying to put all the pieces together at the hospital as well as they're on the scene, as you can see right now. That is St. Vincent's Hospital, and that is a Boone County Sheriff's vehicle right there. And we do know a lot of IMPD officers are there at the hospital as well as many different agencies are for thoughts and prayers and also trying to give assistance in any way they can. Originally, police were telling us they had 3 suspects. That is still confirmed. One of the suspects was shot during that foot pursuit after the deputy was shot. The other 2 are in custody. Police don't believe there's a threat to the community, but they say people should just be aware they have a large crime scene that they're going through. They have a lot of investigation to do, and that will be Indiana State Police who will take over that investigation. They're often called in during situations like this for smaller departments to investigate all aspects of a shooting. So that is what they will do, and that brings people from Indianapolis and brings people from the Lafayette Post and different areas that state police has a presence, as they have a presence throughout the state, but extra resources that come from the different posts to be able to assist in investigations like this. And so they will be taking over that investigation to see exactly what happened, what caused them to run, who fired first. That's information we just don't have, and investigators at this point really just don't have that information either because it is so early in this investigation. State police started assisting right after the shooting, but as the detectives arrive there on the scene, it takes time to process all that and process all of the information that they may have and look at all the evidence. We'll take you back to Skycam 6. This is over the apartment complex where police say that shooting happened, where the deputy was shot during the foot pursuit, and then where that suspect was also shot. Now, we do know the suspect was transported to an area hospital. We don't have a condition on him right now, but you can see how big that scene is right now. It's just a massive scene. You see the crime scene tape as they're going apartment to apartment right now, trying to get as much information as they can and possibly look and see if anything else, if there are any other connections, why the suspect may run to this location. We just don't know that information yet, and police don't know that information. They're trying to make sure they have all their bases covered, that the area is safe, so they can detectives can get in there and start to investigate. But you can see just how big that area is, all that crime scene tape around the complex there. Police have a lot of work in front of them. They're trying to get as much information. We do know State Police's SWAT team is also out there, and that's standard protocol. Whenever a deputy is shot, whenever they are out on a search for a suspect, they usually call the SWAT team in. They're specially trained officers. They know a little bit more about tracking some of these suspects, and they have some of the extra equipment and safety protections that they can use to encounter when they encounter a suspect. So, again, what we know right now, a deputy from the Boone County Sheriff's Office is in critical condition at St. Vincent's Hospital. Another suspect was shot. We don't know what hospital is in, and we don't know his condition right now, but we're trying to get that information just as soon as we can. Lauren, there's been a lot of concern in the community. Is the community safe? State Police telling us that they do believe the community is safe at this point. They did have the schools on lockdown there for a little while just because of the proximity to this location. I mean, you can see Skycam was showing us just a little bit ago. The high school is just a few blocks away, and that's concerning for school students. They say right now the school lunch is going to be a closed lunch, but the schools are under lockdown. But you can see just 1 block away there, the high school is right there. So it's really close. It caused some concern for families this morning.
Yeah, and that's Lebanon High School you're looking at right now from Skycam 6. I've been monitoring the school's Twitter account to see if they're still on lockdown. As far as we know, they are still on lockdown. But if you're a parent of a student that is part of the school system, we can tell you your students are safe. There is never any threat to their safety, but when they had that person of interest at large, while this was all still developing, they wanted to make sure they keep those students inside and safe away from everything that's happening, really just a block away from their school. preschool. We can tell you that the Lebanon Municipal Building, the city there has tweeted that they've gotten the okay from ISP to go ahead and reopen that. A lot of businesses, places like the government buildings were on a lockdown as well, just as a precaution in this area because it's so close to town. We can also tell you that afternoon preschool at Harney Elementary is canceled for today. That was about an hour ago. They tweeted that out because of the lockdowns happening, those students coming to just the PM side of the school day. The younger students, they were just going to go ahead and cancel class, so those students are off for today due to the lockdowns in place at this time. We can tell you that students are remaining on their normal activities. Everything's remaining normal inside the building. There's, again, no threat to your students' safety, but they are still just being cautious. As you can see, this investigation is still in its early stages. Of course, we want to keep you updated here on the RTV6 app and on our Facebook page. We are following this breaking news out of Boone County where a deputy was shot. We also know a suspect was shot. The deputy right now is at St. Vincent Hospital in critical condition. We have our crews spread out all across the scene working to get more information. Obviously, something we're going to be following really closely here coming up on the news at noon on RTV6. We hope you join us then.
Got it. Okay. I'll ask. Skycam 6 to assignment desk. We need to know if you need us anymore in the noon show. We're going to start needing to start heading back for fuel. Stand by, talking to Ray now. The other 3 to 5 minutes, Will? Okay, we'll go, we can. All right, we're good for about another 5. Okay, if you can hear me, Ray, we're good for another 5 minutes, and then we're gonna need to go for fuel. Okay, thank you. Skycam 6 to assignment desk. Sam, we're going to stay up for about another 5 minutes, give one more live bump, and then we're going to head back for fuel. No, we're going to have to, we need all the fuel we can to get back to downtown. Alright, they're going to take us one more time. And then we're going to cruise back. You don't have to hover, you can give me a circle. Okay. What you've been doing has been perfect.
Check.
You guys on the chase? Huh? Are you on the chase as well? Yeah.
He was like, shit. You already shot my buddy. You know.
I can.
I'm going to jail. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not comfortable.
So sorry.
I was expecting to be downtown at the combine today. That's where I was supposed to be. I ended up with this somehow.
Did you bench press with 5 pounds?
That's what I
You
told
seen
him.
that?
They decided to punch me in the nose. Oh, you thought you were going to combine? Yeah.
Sorry. That Honda, that's the one they searched. We were over there. You've got Hello Kitty all over the place. They're just driving up. Everyone has different colored bags. And the white big black girl has nothing left. Put your hands up.
I just didn't want to trip public between my legs. Yeah. I feel you on that one.
You got enough room in?
Yeah.
That's not what I wanted on my Friday. I don't know what I was thinking. That's not what I wanted.
Well, good.
They're ready. There's no explanation with that armory. I'm like, that's like yesterday. This tank and
I don't know if they want to hit that with Sean or if they'll just keep it up there and go. But I'm with you. I think it's something that... No, is it going to be right there?
Huh?
You've heard anything?
No. They're in that Oscar Pucci.
they said names.
I don't know.
Everything else, yeah. We don't allow them to have. We draw lines. We draw lines. And by the way, we're just getting to the point where we're allowing anyone to have a beer on Sunday from a grocery store. So we've drawn lines clearly for things that we felt were something.
Actually,
The street that we were on is going to go to the liquor store. I think I called it. Switching it up so that I was wrong.
My half-hearted plan that I'll probably punch on it.
you heard of it?
I've heard of it.
And
You see it?
from the
All right.
I saw the post. Sorry, I'm listening to my theater.
Okay, Mary, got it.
Oh,
My,
oh,
so, like,
oh, what? He's like, what's he doing there? Big police car. They all run up, snatch him out, body slam him. It's all on tape. It's on YouTube.
Get my wine, and I come up to the counter. I put it all on the floor. Then I go, and the guy goes like, "Sir, I can't sell that." The guy's like, "I can't sell it to you." I'm like, "I think I'm under 21. You really need to get your eyes checked." And so he's like, "No, it's not that. We can't sell anyone wine." I'm like, "I haven't signed the contract. I can probably go back to DC right now." I want to go back and
They'll be all cleaned out by
put it down on the belt and say, thank you. Under a plate now.
Would be. Yeah. You have, as long as you've been up, you have no idea what he shot. And all you know is he shot your apartment complex, but you don't know what he had. He was a long time. Yeah, I heard him one time. They took him on the apartment complex. But they were talking about how it was heavily roped off. So, and then I don't have, who knows what Frank shot.
Yeah. You got one of them that was at school.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah. Yes. Yes. Probably freaking, but
it's underway. Which is that? Ballpark.
I think we saw it all.
Hey, you're going to
She came out, freeze, dirtbag! No, she's just telling them what they said. You guys, I'm going to give them a I'm supposed to come over here and do this every day. So I'm going to take a heart attack and reset. Paris, what else? And what's the phone? I say just go in there and be ready. Do my best in case they come. At least you're there. Yeah, that would be a nice. Yeah.
Oh, so it's not outside, not when you can carry?
She saw everything intact. They're like, there's like a surprise screen that inside, but well, I just put it inside.
One of the things that we find funny is this. You mean at that apartment complex? I don't think it was at.
Our liking is like
that he, I mean, I think he was there. I don't know. They didn't say anything about how he got over there.
She's going to be coming back. It's 12:20. She's still up there.
I thought it was southwest.
There you go.
But this guy got into it, and this guy got into a car.
Tell me to see somebody moving over my shoulder.
He
maybe someone who drove the wrong way at 65.
It's easier for a triple box at the top.
The guy who they just taken into custody, the only one we've seen a picture of, yeah. Yeah, so I don't know.
Prepare she says you didn't say what time.
I forgot my phone in my car. Do you mind if I make a quick phone call? Appreciate it. No, that's who I do this for. Luke, I'm trying to do here.
Well, they didn't say anything about stuff and stuff. They asked me stuff about what you. They asked me stuff that I was. Well, then they used to stop it. Like, come here, and like that's what they use it every 3 times. I was like, okay. She said there's.
Hey, it's Jared. I accidentally forgot my phone in my car and I had to walk a little way, so I just wanted to let you know that I'm going to be, until they come out, and hopefully soon, I'm going to be just kind of out of touch. So, yeah, so was there anything that you tried to get hold of me on 10, 15 minutes? Okay, cool. Just want to let you
Triple
know.
box.
Yeah.
Triple box in a minute and a half. You and Aaron.
Am I giving you an update?
Okay.
So she was on the phone.
A minute 20. Triple box.
Can you ask Ray what I'm
Huh?
expecting to do?
Run that by
Can
me
you ask
one
Ray
more
what
time.
I'm
The
doing?
condition of the deputy and the location. Yeah, I believe so. Okay, sorry, I gotta wrap it up real quick. Bye.
You got about 45 seconds.
Okay. Still don't know what I'm doing. Hey, you guys, am I giving you an update or what's happening here? What do you want me to? Do you want me to just? going to step that way.
I was waiting for Kevin to be down for a second, so I'll...
Okay, thank you.
Hey, are you calling me about Brian? Well, he said he was going to be on his phone. Yeah, yeah.
I'm going to go hook up with him.
Yeah.
Well, Paris, I can tell you that we are expecting another update from Indiana State Police, the lead agency on this investigation here momentarily. You can actually see it appears that they are preparing to offer us that update, so we should know more here soon. But the biggest things, just to recap what you went over, we asked if there is a threat to the community at this point, as some of these perimeters are still up, some of these streets and scenes still blocked off with flashing lights and police tape, and they say no, they don't believe so. They think that the three suspects, the three people they believe to be involved, are all in custody. One, again, shot. His condition unknown. We do know that that deputy is in critical condition. We're looking to find out more information. All of this starting around 8:30 this morning at an apartment complex close to where we're at right now. We are at the Indiana National Guard Readiness Center right now in Lebanon. That's where Lebanon police were serving up a search warrant. They had found the suspect that they were looking for, that suspect, and then two other men got into a car and fled, leading police on a chase, at some point ending up on I-65, going the wrong way, and during a foot pursuit went out of the car. That's when that Boone County deputy was shot. So we expect to learn more, but we're going to head over to RTV6's Aaron Lish right now, who is live at the hospital with an update.
Yeah, just in case. They have till 1 to shut down, and then... If we hear something, we can power it back on. Yep. I need to charge it. Yep. I was just thinking about the same situation. They have till then. You want to... Okay. All right. Let's see. How does this happen? You probably leave it up to that. Oh, there he is. Is that him? It's like, why do I want to wear a nice suit?
Rich is here. Why did Jeff Rossetti go? Rich just showed up here. He just went to go look for him. That's why I said.
just went to get him.
That's what I mean. I don't have Rossetti's number, but you might call him.
Rich can call him.
He's over here now.
Rich can call him.
Thank you. No problem. Bye. Bye.
Well, see, that's why I was,
Yeah,
that's
soon
why I
as
was
1 o'clock
thinking about
hits.
not.
Yep, it chews the
Because
battery.
I'll probably go in there, fire the car up, and
Yeah, it's
start
gonna be
charging.
like Doug Carter.
Yep.
Although the
yeah,
nice thing is,
that's
though, I've
right.
got those little chargers too.
Jeff
Rossetti just went to
Rossetti
join
went to
me.
go find you.
You may want to give him a buzz.
He was scrambling, he was flying when he was walking to his car.
Just making sure he realized
Yeah, 'cause he's dead anyway. I think he's dead. I hate to say it, but I do. All of a sudden they called it all in there.
oh,
Yeah, we could disperse, yeah. Move on. Go to Richmond.
Well, I was just listening at Indiana Springs Road, I think, yeah. So, I was talking to people in the Armory, and they said shots were fired in this area, but they also said during the press thing that the suspects got in the car and drove off, and then one fled on foot, and that's when he was shot. So, I didn't know if that was two separate shootings. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not totally sure. The way I was like,
yeah, that's why I don't know if it was close to How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Pretty good.
We're
I'm gonna stop my car, and you tell me where it is, and then I'll listen.
Hey, everybody's coming over. I think they've been laying it for a reason, huh? That's definitely for now. They didn't come over and tell us what they did. Probably just you, but I don't know. Well, Rich is here. Here comes, and Rich is here, and Mary's setting up by I think. So I'm guessing it went to a voice message. Hang on a second. I'm gonna try again. I'm gonna trying to go to your voicemail. Let's see. Yeah. Try one more time. Now it's in. Your voicemail.
He was going to look at my phone today. It's been doing this.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah, so that thing just went to voicemail.
Didn't get the chance to do it.
If you want your video, if they don't have anything, I can just zoom off and show the police.
Are they picking our sound, or are they
I think it's just some type of, but you can ask her once you get your front of the camera. Are they going to roll
45
anything?
seconds, though. No sound, just thumb sucker.
Are you going to roll video of something?
Video, Mary?
They do? Oh, okay. So they'll roll something on. I just wanted to make sure so it wasn't just a headshot on you.
Just let me know. Is it going to be like the SWAT people going through that little tank going through the neighborhood or something else? Oh, then don't worry. Don't worry about it. We're still holding for Mary's presser. Which hospital is it? Oh, but look at you and your little stylish bonnet.
My bonnet?
I said, look at you and your stylish bonnet.
I didn't have time to do my hair before I flew out of the station.
I think they were looking for a bathroom.
Oh, well, I was tired. Went up to the Van White standard too.
That's right.
You know, our standard is the bathrooms when we drive around to find
That's right.
the
You can't just
one.
be any bathroom.
It can't be just, you know, I mean, we hit a lot
We're
of
not
gas
just stopping at
stations.
speedways. That's
right.
your point.
Well, we go to a lot of them. We just in Indy, you know, some are better and not good places to stop. You know, even though you may issue, it's not a good place to go.
I stopped at Hardee's, just coming up because I'd use the bathroom. I'm like, I finally use the bathroom. And I pull up, they locked down the entire restaurant. Only the drive-through was open, and it was because of this.
Wow.
So it's like,
I guess they're all just really careful with that.
I guess so, yeah.
You know,
So
you didn't know.
couldn't go inside, and
I can understand for at least that moment.
yeah.
Thought they were wrapping up the newscast there. Okay. Okay. Otis, you look like you're having a hell of a time there.
I am, Kevin. Quite the time. Almost as much fun as you also had.
Yeah, really.
But not
Two,
quite.
I heard you.
Oh, goodness.
I'm still trying. I'm just at the very tail end of a 5-6 month tussle with bronchitis, and then of course you got to stand outside all day. You know the drill.
Oh, God,
If you
that's
had
right.
knee surgery, then you'd have to go cover a road race.
Yeah, your legs like
It's like,
Girl.
man.
Yeah.
Oh, really sorry you've been sick the last month.
Here we go. No. Yeah. Coming now? Uh-oh. I'm not going to talk to you.
Thank you.
Huh?
What's that mean?
Yeah, what is that?
What the heck that mean?
What does that mean?
Run.
You were the leader. What does that mean? Oh.
No, John just said, get the hell out of here.
Oh.
He said we were getting too close, and the commander didn't like it.
I got you.
We thought something was going
I
on.
thought you meant we had a
Yeah.
news conference coming up. So I was all ready to.
I was talking to the
Yeah, I see. Yeah, they were down
Don't do
there.
this and then start running.
Yeah, they were parked there.
More shots fired.
Not good.
Pew guns.
I thought he was, yeah, it's like we're too close to it. Stay behind the yellow tape, i.e. There's a reason it's up.
Keep me posted on time, Mary. Yeah, one of the more interesting things that was brought up a little while ago, that an hour ago now in a short news conference held by state police, was they're asking the same questions we're asking when we were asking why this happened, what led to this. He said that's one of the first things they want to know: who, what, where, when, and why. They don't know how serving a warrant all of a sudden escalated into so much more, with the deputy now in critical condition and a manhunt that went on for a few hours here in the town of Lebanon in a swath area. And so right now they're still trying to determine, they're going back over piece by piece in the various locations, no doubt in the location like Rich Van Wyck is at, and others, to find out exactly what has transpired here. We're staying here in close touch with state police as that investigation continues, and we'll pass along any details we have on WTHR.com and, of course, on WTHR throughout the day. Let's go back now to Scott and Andy. Was that about right?
Hello.
Names of the three suspects.
Mary.
Okay.
When you guys are ready, I'll give you time to set up. I'm not in a rush. I just have some brief information update with you. I'm going to give you the names of the three suspects who we do have in custody. 55-year-old John D. Baldwin Sr. of Lebanon. Also 28-year-old John D. Baldwin Jr. of Lebanon. And the suspect that was shot, that is currently at St. Vincent's Hospital, is 21-year-old Anthony Bumgart. B-U-M-G-A-R-H-T of Lebanon. He's listed in stable condition at this point at St. Vincent's Hospital.
Can you do me a favor and just repeat the first name? We went live, and I think we may have missed that part.
Yeah, John, or Kevin, it's John D. Baldwin Sr. of Lebanon, 55 years old.
Do you have middle initials or middle names?
Middle initials on the two Baldwins is D as in David, and I don't have anything for Anthony.
Do we know yet who fired the shot?
We do, but we're not prepared to release that information at this time.
Related? Are the two names on there related, Baldwin?
The two Baldwins are a father and son, yes.
Have all the perimeters been lifted?
At this point, we just have a couple more places that we're looking as part of this investigation, but the actual perimeter has been lifted. We've definitely shrunk down the manpower here. We've refocused now from a response to an investigation, and that's what we're looking at. Is we've got a lot of questions left to answer. We're going to be here for a while trying to answer those questions.
Still no information on why those men were being served a warrant?
No, at this point we don't know.
Where was the warrant for?
From what I understand, the person out of these three that was wanted on the warrant was John Baldwin Jr.
Where was the second suspect apprehended?
That's still kind of unclear at this point. We're trying to make sure we have all those facts before we give that information. We believe that Baldwin Jr. was the one that was apprehended on I-65 after the shooting incident.
Was he the only one left in the car then at that point?
I believe so. I believe so. Yes.
So he was driving the vehicle?
Yes, I believe so.
And how many separate scenes were there? I know we had a crew out at an elementary.
Well, there's several, and so this spans. It was a pursuit that lasted several minutes, and so it went through the streets of Lebanon. So it allows us several crime scenes that we now have to look into, investigate. We've got as many resources as we've got here in Lebanon to help with those crime scenes. But I can tell you the school was not an actual crime scene. The officers were at the school to make sure that the school was aware of the situation so that we can make sure that the kids are safe inside the building. And that's what the goal of sending officers to the schools was for.
John, you have a community here where you have a manhunt, shots being fired in the community, and yet thankfully no one else was injured in this. So clearly the community cooperated when you guys asked them to stay in.
You know, without question. We evacuated some of the areas of the community. They did that without question. They reached out to us with tips. We have witnesses that helped us. The community really came together to help us with this, and they're continuing to help us, and we greatly appreciate that.
Is it your understanding that were people bailing from the vehicle as it was moving?
There's still a lot of questions to be answered about what happened during the actual pursuit, and that's the purpose of our investigation, so we can answer those questions.
So the pursuit started at the apartment complex and then ended up somewhere on I-65, is that correct?
Yeah, so the pursuit began. At some point, the pursuit came to a stop. That's when the deputy was shot. The pursuit then started again with another person, with somebody in the vehicle that fled the scene, and then we got that person in custody as well.
Do you know what rate of speed they were going?
At this point, I don't have any of those answers. I don't.
And then any update on that deputy is going to come from the hospital?
Yes.
So there was three suspects in the vehicle. At some point, it became a foot chase.
That's correct.
And somebody else one of the three suspects, Junior, in the vehicle continued to drive off. And
Correct.
So there was then two chases, a foot chase and a car chase.
You got it.
Do we know which one may have fired the shot that wounded the deputy?
We know, but we're not prepared to release that information at this point.
Do we know if shots were fired when LPD first made contact?
Again, that's part of our investigation. I'm not sure at this point.
And is there any update on the injury for the one suspect who was shot?
He's listed in stable condition.
As far as like where he was shot or anything?
I don't have that information.
There would have been two type of car chases, I guess, right? Because then the 65 was separate, because that was a
Yeah,
different
same car,
driver.
same. Yeah, so he's essentially the foot chase unfolded on Indian Springs behind me. Then somebody got back in the vehicle or stayed in the vehicle. I'm not sure, and then fled the scene again. And police continued to chase them as other officers stayed to help the deputy who had been shot.
Are
So
these
somewhere I'm
suspects known to law enforcement?
I don't know. I'm not sure at this point.
I'm having a hard time keeping how many people were in a vehicle at which time.
Three people in the
so-
vehicle most of the time until after the deputy was shot. Once the deputy was shot, there was only one person left in the vehicle that fled the scene again. One person fled from that scene, and one person was shot and taken into custody.
Shot by law enforcement, Sergeant?
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks.
Pretty chaotic, huh?
Anthony, rather.
Anthony Baumgart.
He's gonna have to come back to you.
G-A-R-H-T.
Yeah. I don't have the names written down.
Do you want to know if he's still alive?
They wanted to know why we weren't.
Can you hear?
No, I'm not plugged in.
He's calling for you now in front of the camera.
Well, I think one of the biggest things I learned, Scott, was just actually who was in the car at what time. It was kind of hard to keep all that sorted out. But now we have a clear picture of what John Bryan said at the very end. At least by the time the shooting had taken place, there was only one person in the car.
Yeah, we just heard from Indiana State Police here in the last few minutes, learning the identities of those three men that are involved, that are considered suspects at this time. We know two of them are a father and son. Of course, all three now taken into custody, one at an unknown hospital in unknown condition at this time who was shot. We found out that there was a pursuit from an apartment complex that is really just a couple of blocks behind us, Indian Springs Road. It started there about 9:30 this morning. 8:30 is the time that officers were going to that apartment complex to start serving a search warrant. Three men hopped into a vehicle and took off. We understand that sometime during that pursuit that they led officers on, two of the men bailed out of the car, starting a foot chase. That's when that shooting happened. The last person was driving the car, just one person in the vehicle at the time, and was apprehended on I-65 going the wrong way at an unknown rate of speed. So we're learning more details to piece together exactly what happened, but we're told the next status report and update will come from St. Vincent's Hospital. That's where, at last check, that deputy who was shot is in critical condition.
That is ours.
Oh, it is that.
Rich is live
That's
there,
Rich
right?
right there.
5 feet away.
He's
Rich?
right down there. I don't know where. Okay, so it's literally we wondered. I was like, what the hell? He's literally just, yeah, he's literally.
I'm in Lebanon.
Get out now.